I'm gonna make this awesome eggplant recipe for you. It's eggplant, Thai basil, and tofu in this amazing sweet and sour sauce. You're gonna love it. Your family's gonna love it. If you're scared of eggplant, if you're scared of tofu, if you don't know what Thai basil is, this is the recipe for you. You are gonna wanna use this. You can serve this as a main dish or a side dish or two main dishes or whatever. It's amazing. Your family will love it. And it's so quick and easy to make. The first thing we're gonna do is get some eggplant. And I'm lucky enough today, we're gonna get it from my garden. You don't have to do that. We're gonna get some Japanese eggplant from my garden. Come with me real quick. We're gonna go right down over here, down this way. So this is my Japanese eggplant. And this is my favorite type of eggplant because it's just delicious. I'm just gonna tell you, I mean, it's delicious. But you can use any eggplant you want. You know, the normal kind of bulb-shaped eggplant's fine. But this one, look at this bad boy. Ain't so pretty. So the thing with eggplant that you need to know, sorry men, size does not matter in eggplant. What you're looking for is, you know, you don't wait till an eggplant grows to a certain size. What you want is you want the skin to be still nice and shiny when it gets to get real dull, and it's still pretty firm here. I said firm. Come with me over here. I have another variety I want to show you. So what we have right here is another variety. It's called white fairy tale. Now it's supposed to be white, but for whatever reason, it turned out to have a little purple streaking. And this has a little bit of damage, I think. It's probably from my gardener weed eating or something, but that's fine. Next, we're gonna use Thai basil. This is my beautiful Thai basil plant. And it's right next to my regular basil plant, and you can see the difference in the leaves. Now, I wish I had smell-o-vision, and you could totally see the difference. Here's the Thai basil, here's the regular basil leaves. Very different. For this recipe, you're gonna need your eggplant. I've got these delicious things from my garden. You're gonna need your Thai basil, and you're gonna need this much Thai basil. And you're gonna need tofu, soft tofu, and you really wanna use soft. Firm, you can use firm or extra firm if that's all you have, but this particular dish, the soft tofu really goes really well. And any type of sweet and sour sauce. This happens to be kikkoman. Rice wine vinegar, some soy sauce, sesame oil, olive oil. Now, that makes it a vegan dish, vegetarian vegan dish. If you want to, you can put ground pork in this. If you want to try to put ground beef, you can. It's fine. But I'm going to keep this vegetarian for today. I'm not vegetarian, so don't freak out. I knew Dr. V was vegetarian. I'm not. When you get your Thai basil, you want to take off the woody stems and just pluck off the leaves like this. And that's what you're going to use. This you're going to put in your compost, okay? And you want to keep some of these, especially the ones that have the flower like that. Keep a couple of them together, and that'll be your garnish. I don't know if you can tell by my appearance, I'm actually Asian, and Asians eat a lot of rice. We eat a lot of rice. And I've done videos on this before, and I realized, you know, a lot of people follow me for weight loss and weight loss surgery stuff. But, you know, the impact that rice has on an Asian body, and I'm not being racist, is very different than the impact it might have on an African-American body or a Caucasian body. So you have to see. But I'm going to serve this dish with rice. You can use cauliflower rice if you want. You can. But I really recommend a good starch. You know, quinoa if you really want to. Couscous would be nice. But, you know, a little jasmine, sweet, like fragrant rice isn't gonna kill you, unless it kills you. But you know, especially if you're a bariatric patient, you're just gonna have a very small serving of rice. You're gonna have this real luscious tofu and eggplant on top I mean, the flavor explosion, you're gonna be like, So I'm gonna show you how to make rice without a rice cooker. If you don't have a rice cooker, I highly recommend a non-stick pan, okay? And there's a couple tips that I'm gonna show you. You're gonna put a little drizzle of olive oil and just a splash of olive oil on the bottom. Just like that, okay? And spread that around, and that's gonna really keep the rice from sticking. Now, you know, Americans talk about cups and how much rice am I supposed to eat in cups and stuff. I don't effing know. I always use this side. So for me, Erica, and my 5-year-old, I always make 200 mLs worth of rice. And, you know, I add a little bit more if I have a couple guests. So I would say for 4 non-Asian adults, I would do 250. For Asians, obviously, eat a lot more rice than that. I'm actually cutting down on my rice a little bit. Mostly because I'm getting middle-aged. And that's the other thing I'll say that's super important is that, you know, as you get older, you have to change your cooking. So that's at 200. I'm gonna get this olive oil nice and hot. I'm gonna spread it around like that. I'm gonna put this rice in there. Shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey. See that? So you wanna get that oil onto your rice and just let it kind of like sit there on the heat. Now, it's jasmine rice is 2-to-1, so I'll put in 400. Leave me a comment if this is how you make your rice or if you do something different. So here's another 200 of water going in there. Cover this up. I'm gonna let this boil. Once it goes to boil, I'll turn this down to a low flame. If it's electric stove like mine, probably 2.5 or so on the dial. And I'll cook it I set the alarm for 12 minutes. And then I'll fluff it and I'll see if it needs more time. But that's really, if you don't have a rice cooker, this will make perfect rice every single time. And you'll see, it won't stick. It'll be really, really nice. I guess I should have held this up backwards. Jasmine rice. Let's talk tofu. Who knows the difference between like the different textures of tofu? Soft, firm, extra firm, super soft, you know. Who knows the difference? Well, I'll tell you. The difference is actually how much water content is in the tofu. How long they press it for, how much comes out. The more water they extract from it, the denser it gets. Duh. I'm trying to live a zero waste life. Doing a bad job. And in some specialty stores and Asian markets, you can find like free, like non-packaged tofu. But in most main grocery stores now, there is packaged tofu. I opened this about 2 weeks ago. And so I'm curious to see, smelling it. Looks pretty good. Tofu, meat knife. And all you're gonna do is cube these into bite-sized pieces. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. You know, I am a surgeon. And you know, honestly, being 2 weeks old, this still looks pretty good. You're just gonna cube these. And if you're scared of tofu, if you're new to tofu, just add a little bit. Eggplant, meat peeler. So what you're gonna do, now you can actually leave the entire skin on. I'm gonna cut off the top. I have my compost bag right here, coffee grinds and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just gonna put, woohoo, my waste in there. And then take your peeler, and I like to peel little strips. You don't have to peel the eggplant if you're super lazy, but I think this makes it look a lot better. And some people, you know, find the skin bitter. You can take out any of like weird marks. And you can take out as much or as little as the skin as you want. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. Leave a little bit of purple so people know what they're eating. Do the same thing over here. So, if for this recipe, if you had the Japanese eggplant, the ichiban, like I would use 2 of these. If you can only find the American eggplant, like the big round one, that the normal eggplant you see, I would use 1 of those. Take off the bottom. Dr. V, world famous surgeon, cuts off his hand on a live broadcast. Do the same thing with these little bad boys. I'm super excited because these are actually, they're called fairy tale eggplant. And they're my first harvest of the season. When you cut off the ends, it actually gives you something to grab hold on to when you're peeling. Makes it much more appealing. Oh my God. I'm just gonna dice these up. Ah! What you wanna do is cut the eggplant in half, because then you can lay it flat, nice and stable. And then you wanna cut these into little bite-sized pieces. And listen, it's not a race. So take your time. You know, it's not like you're not auditioning for Top Chef. In fact, if you just take your time, I'm okay with letting my 5-year-old, believe it or not, like use a knife with my supervision, of course. Now this is really cool because you'll be able to see the difference. You know which eggplant you're eating. But Dr. V, what about this awkward shape? Remind you of anything? Cut this in half. Slice this down the middle. And lay it flat. Okay? Down the middle again. Down the middle again. Hey, this is rustic.
So, you don't need to worry about this. Now, normally, you know, like this is going to yellow on you. When you peel this, it's going to yellow on you. So you want to make sure that you got everything ready to go. And probably, if I had to do this over again, I probably should have made my sauce first. We're going to make the sauce here in a second. And save the peeling and the chopping of the eggplant for the end.
There you go. So you have roughly 2 to 1 eggplant to tofu. For my garlic friends out there, totally forgot. This dish does amazing with some garlic. I'm going to show you, maybe you already know this technique, but the fastest and easiest way to peel garlic. Now you can do all sorts of stuff, garlic press, yada, yada, yada. But when I was a little kid growing up in East Texas, on PBS every day, I used to watch Yan Can Cook. Comment if you used to watch Yan Can Cook. And here's what you're gonna do, all right? You just take your knife, crush it, 1, crushed, 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 okay? Now the second you crush it like that, now you can totally it just comes out so nice and easy. Get that skin off of there. Yan did this a lot faster on his cooking show. But hey, Yan can't cook, so can you. Dr. V can cook, so can you. All right, now that it's crushed, and if it's not crushed enough, you can totally crush it again. Look at that, whoa, whoa. Pile it up, and then you're gonna dice it like this, okay? Okay, now that we have all of our ingredients, you're gonna just rough chop it like that. We have all of our ingredients ready. This is what the French like to call mise en place. Everything in its place, yo. That's what the gangsters call it. I should have made the sauce first, but I got carried away. Now, I usually make the sauce in the pan while it's cooking. That's probably why I didn't think about it. But because this is a cooking demonstration, I'm going to make the sauce separate. But you can make the sauce in the pan. Now, all you got to do is get any sweet and sour sauce that's available for you. It doesn't matter because we're going to change up the taste. And here's what you're going to do. Oh, there's my rice. Look at that. And watch this. If you ever have any issues with rice sticking on the bottom of the pan, look at that. Non-stick pan, a little bit of oil, 2-to-1 water to rice. There you go. And this is nice. Oh man, if you could smell that rice. Fluffy. That is perfect. I'm going to turn off the heat. And I'm actually going to leave it on that surface. And I know that's still hot. It's going to finish off. Sweet and sour sauce. In a jar, you usually want to shake it up. This is a glass jar to go with my zero waste life so I can recycle this jar. Try to reduce your plastic consumption. Now you're just going to put about that much, okay, in there. About half the bottle. You're going to put in about equal amount of water. We're making a braising liquid, all right? And like I said, normally I would do this in the cooking pan itself, but I want to show you. In case you're nervous and this is new, I can get the taste in the pan. So now I'm going to taste it. That's pretty sour. Not very sweet. It's getting there. We're gonna make this a little bit better. We're gonna add some soy sauce. White people use soy sauce. Asian people use Maggi. A little rice wine vinegar. What you're wanting to do is try to get this flavor profile that is much more complex than what you get straight out of the jar. Then taste this. Oddly, that's not very sweet. I wonder what's going on. So I don't think this is sweet enough, so I'm going to add some agave nectar. You can use sugar if you want. I'm just going to use some agave nectar. This is horrible. Don't buy this brand. That's tastes bad. It's like it has no taste. It has no taste, so let's add some more to it. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Hashtag worst cooking show ever. All right. And you can do all sorts of stuff to this. Like if you want it to have more spice. Dude, I wonder if I'm coming down with COVID. I can't taste this. A little bit more sweetness. I think it needs a little bit more soy sauce. Okay. Let's get to cooking. I'm just going to pretend. Oh, that was it. That's what I needed. That was good. A little bit more sugar. This is agave nectar. That's good. Okay. Move this off the heat. You want a dish, because this is going to have the braising sauce in there. So you want a little frying pan. Not too shallow. You want to get it hot. We're going to add olive oil. That's a lot of oil, Dr. V. It's good for your heart. But remember, these eggplants are gonna act like little sponges, and they will absorb all this up. The other trick is you want olive oil for the cooking, but you want sesame oil for the flavor. So you're gonna, and a little goes a long way. Next question. How do you know that your oil is hot? A couple of things. One, you can see it's smoking. But if you move your pan around, you see that? You see how it kind of leaves streaks running in the pan? That means it's hot. So this is pretty hot. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. There we go. The eggplant. Oh yeah. Get that sizzle on. And you know it's doing good. Now you might think this is crazy. Dr. V, this is crazy. Dr. V, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Don't be scared of adding salt, guys, to your dishes. Because cooking salt is not where you get most of your salt. Most people get their salt from eating bread, actually, believe it or not. Bread and processed foods. Woo, baby. Dr. V, don't forget the garlic. What you want to do is just let these kind of brown real quick. See, it's sucked up that oil, right? Let it sit there and brown a little bit. You said let it sit there and then you touched it, Dr. V. I know. Awful, right? Boy, have you had smell-o-vision? So what you're seeing is that the eggplant is, you see this, like this one down here? See how it's changing? It's like softening up. Yeah. See that side? See? It's browned. Now, once I have my first browning on, I'm going to throw in my garlic. Larry King. Garlic is unique. Now, you want to do this because the other mistake people make when they're cooking is they throw in their garlic too soon. And when you throw in your garlic too soon, it actually ends up burning. Say burning? Burning. We are almost done, believe it or not. Total cooking time is going to be 7-8 minutes. Ooh, smell-o-vision. Okay. You just want to cook these till they're nice and soft, but you don't want to lose the total, like, you don't want it to be, like, mashable. You want to have a little bit of body. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I look all professional shaking it like that, right? I could flip it, too. Here, let me do that. I don't know if I should do this live on screen, on camera. Okay. Y'all want to see this? Y'all want to see Dr. Vuong burn himself? All right. So, if you ever want to learn how to flip, here's the tip. One, don't do it the first time with real stuff. Do it, practice with beans, just some dry beans. Actually, this might not work. But you get it all to one end of the pan, like that, and then you toss it back at your, woohoo! Look at that. There we go. See? I knew I could do it. At this point, if it was me cooking, I would do the sauce right in the pan, but I already made it for you right here. Whoa, Nelly. Oh, yeah. And it's gonna be delicious. Get that up to boiling again, so turn that back up to high. Now, you're gonna drop in your tofu. Tofu, soft tofu. Dr. V, if you cook this soft tofu, will it get firm? No, bitch, aren't you listening? It's water content, so it's actually gonna absorb all of this. Dr. Vuong, what does tofu taste like? Is it nasty? No, it has no flavor. Isn't it true that that soybeans are bad for you? That tofu is bad for you? Who said that? Soy milk, soy is bad for you. Causes breast cancer and hormone stuff. Guess who wrote that stuff? The dairy industry. There are billions of people around the planet that eat tofu. So it can't be the tofu. And besides, you know, women in America were getting breast cancer, etc., way before tofu was introduced in America. All right, see, it's back to boiling. Dr. V, you're being too controversial in this video. I do not like you anymore. Unsubscribe. Looking good. Now what you're going to do is, look, this is a bunch of Thai basil, right? So you're going to just put it in here. What's up, girl? Flowers and all. One little piece of tofu tried to get away. Get in there, girl. Dr. V, how did you know that was a grilled tofu? I turned it upside down, looked at it. Now what you want to do is cover this lid. And to answer your question, yes, Erica has to put up with this talking every time I'm cooking. Set the timer for about 3 minutes. Oh my God, if y'all could smell this. Man. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. Let's see what we got. Ta-da! Oh, baby. Dr. V, that doesn't look very appetizing. Just wait. See, you're going to stir this up. It's stuck to the bottom a little bit. That's all right. Don't panic. Stir that shit. Yes. Yes. And eggplant. Yes. You see how the Thai basil is more like you're going to get a little bite of Thai basil in every bite. Now, Dr. V, how do I know the eggplant's done? Watch this. All right. You're just going to take a fork. Is it fork tender? Oh, yes. That is perfect. Done. That is done. Now, we got to taste this. Okay, let's taste this sauce. The whole key to this dish is the sauce, so you want to taste it. But bam! Came together. The Thai basil, the garlic. I'm telling you, this is beautifulness. See, you want the tofu to kind of break up like this. That's why you use soft tofu. It's going to be delicious. And ground pork would be great. Ground beef, obviously you would brown those off at the first. Now, right before serving, I would take and add an extra couple little greens on here like this, including the flowers. Purple flowers, Thai basil flowers. Yes. Just tear your fingers. Turn this off. So, I got these awesome at a estate sale. Check these out. Vintage, like 50s style plates. Aren't they cool? So these are little salad plates, size of my hand. So take a little measuring. This is 1/4 cup or whatever. Doesn't matter. Put it in here. Press it down. Clean it off. Press it down. Press it down. You know, we talk a lot in my private paid group about how we make conscious decisions and how we eat mindfully. And this little extra step is thinking about like, all right, like how do you prepare your food? How do you present it? Look at that. What? Look at that. See? And that's how they do it in Chinese restaurants. Now, see that? Beautiful. Look at that. Just put some of that on there. Yes. And, you know, if you have someone who doesn't like tofu, don't give them as much. Give them more eggplant. But I promise you, they're going to love this dish. This is rice, eggplant, and tofu. And tell me what you guys think. Ollie? Oh, it's hot. Be careful. You have to blow on it. Use your fork, baby. How is it? 2 double thumbs up. Let me see.
For it, great.
Wow! So here's a final product. We're gonna give it a taste test. Get a little bit of that's the white eggplant, purple eggplant. Get a little bit of that Thai basil on there. A little bit of that Thai basil. Oh my gosh. The tofu just takes up the sauce. Sweet, sour. Good anytime. Seriously. Try this dish. You won't regret it.